Hi, I'm Sister Hall. Thank you for taking the time to view this. I hope the information I share will be helpful for you. I wanted to start out by thanking you for taking this class. I hope it will be a great experience for you. Sometimes when students take this class, they take it because they hope it will be an easy class. And I hope that's the case. It is a 1-credit class. And it's often a topic that students are really interested in. They are excited about marriage and either improving their own marriage or looking forward to marriage. And while it isn't a hard class, it's not hard. You're not learning something difficult. For me, that would be something like calculus. It is a class where you are asked to spend some time and some effort. So I do want to set some expectations there. So while it isn't hard, there is going to be some time and some work asked of you in this class. So just want to set those expectations. And speaking about the work you will do in this class, just want to give some hints or some tips on accessing this course. Some of you will use a laptop or a desktop computer. Others might use a mobile device like a phone or a tablet. Either way you access the course, one thing I always recommend to students is to at least access the home page for the course in Canvas once a week. Sometimes students navigate the course by using the Canvas calendar, which is a great tool. However, when you only use the Canvas calendar, you might miss some of the other things in the course. For example, course announcements. I use announcements to share important information with students. And if you're only looking at your to-do list or the Canvas calendar, you might miss things like announcements. You might also miss readings that are assigned in the course if those are not linked as assignments on the Canvas calendar. So just an invitation to go to the home page, look at announcements, and also go to the modules so that you can see the different things that are listed through the module for that week. Another idea is for you to not overlook little things as you work through the course. Sometimes courses that are, sometimes easier, we might miss things that we lose easy points. So for example, if I'm typing up an assignment, first thing I want to do is make sure that I've read the assigned readings very thoroughly so that I know the content that I'm talking about, so that I'm demonstrating knowledge of new learning. That's something that I look for when students are writing about in the course. So they're not just writing about their own personal experiences. While that is valuable, I want to see them apply the new knowledge they learn in the course to those personal experiences. Those are great connections to make. Also, make sure that you've read the assignments thoroughly so you know what is being asked of you, and then to make sure those are demonstrated in your assignments. Look for things like, how is the assignment asked to be formatted? Are there headings that are assigned? Use those assigned headings. In marriage skills, we use APA formatting. You're asked to use Times New Roman 12-point font. You are asked to double space all of your assignments and use 1-inch margins. So please make sure before you click submit, did you do that on that assignment? Did you proofread and edit and look for some of those typos and easy mistakes? That would be looking at those little things that sometimes can make a big difference in your assignments. Did you look at the grading rubric that's provided for you? Our course uses grading rubrics. I use them, so that's how I'm going to grade your assignments. It's an opportunity for you to grade yourself before you even submit the assignment. You can look through that grading rubric, check your own work before you submit it. So that's another suggestion I have for you. What I'd like to do is take a look at one specific assignment that we're going to be doing for week 2. All right, so you should now be seeing the family of origin assignment that is showing on the screen. Again, my invitation to you is to please read these instructions very thoroughly before you even begin writing this assignment. There is a template that you're able to download. There's a link right here. So I'll click on that to show you. When you use this template, what I would ask of you is keep the headings, but after you work on the assignment, would you please remove these prompts or these questions? Because this is an essay, this is not a worksheet. You want to remove these prompts so they're not part of your finished essay. So again, read these instructions very carefully. The objective of this family of origin essay is to, one, reflect on your family of origin, the family in which you were raised, and analyze those relationships. And then you're going to connect that to your own current or future marriage and make those connections. You're going to do that by talking about these 7 areas. First, you're going to reflect on your mother and your father. A word about this. If you, who mother and father are to some students is going to be different. If you were raised by your biological mother and father, by all means, that's who you can focus on for that section of the essay. If you were raised by somebody different, so for example, a single mother and you don't know your father, that's fine. Focus on your mother. If you have another father figure, go right ahead and talk about who that is. It might be an uncle, a family friend, could be a grandfather. Perhaps you were raised by your grandparents and you don't know your biological mother and father. You can use them for this section. So it really is personal and it is up to you. I want you to feel like you have freedom and flexibility. Some people have a blended family, so they have a mother and a stepfather and a father and a stepmother. You're welcome to write about all of them, some of them. So it's really up to you how you would like to write about your family of origin. In this section on parents' relationship, I know for some students, this can be painful if this was not a happy or healthy relationship. Please know that you do not have to write about anything you do not want to. And one thing that we encourage is that you do not share personal and traumatic experiences. This is not a trauma-informed paper. It really is just for you to kind of look back, give a brief reflection on your parents' relationship, and then connect that to your own current or future marriage. So please don't feel like you're supposed to, for a grade, share things that are too personal, that you're not willing to share. Going down here, I think the rest is self-explanatory. A couple words about some topics. Number 5, what you would like to do differently. Sometimes students feel like this is asking you, what would you do differently? Meaning your family of origin did something wrong, and so now you need to do something different. That is not what this topic is saying. We do things differently in our own current or future marriage simply because we are different. We're of different generations. Our parents were raised differently than we were. And so our marriage is or will be different. Our marriage is also different because we married somebody who is going to bring in their family of origin and those influences. We might marry someone of a different culture, a different race, a different religion. And so that's going to affect our marriage. And so we're just, making reflection on that and recognition of that and acknowledging that, and then talking about how, what we're doing differently because of those differences. And then notice with number 6, how to change. There's this statement. Be sure to elaborate on this section. This is really the key point of the essay, how to change, not so much what you want to change. That is important. Please identify what changes you've identified or you're going to make, but then elaborate on how you seek to make those changes in your current or future marriage. And if I'll just scroll down here, that section, so all these other sections are worth 10 points. That section is worth 20. So that alone tells you that that's a section of the essay that needs to be lengthier. You need to spend more time on that and more detail. So please don't overlook the emphasis on section 6 in the essay. One more thing, the final topic, my dream. Sometimes students think this means we're talking about a dream marriage, and they'll say things like, I don't believe in a dream marriage. That's not realistic. That really isn't what this is asking. This is asking for you to describe your dream for your marriage. And so what is it that you hope for your marriage? What are the things that you're planning for your marriage? What is it you want to see or work for in your marriage? So that's really the focus of that question. So read through these. Another topic that sometimes comes up in these essays, and I think it's because we're reflecting back to when we were children and we were growing up in these families. Sometimes students focus on parenting and they talk a lot about how they want to raise their children, and the essay becomes more of a parenting essay. And it's important to keep this focused on your current or future marriage. How will the family you were raised in affect your current or future marriage? And you'll notice if you come down to the rubric, it does ask you to stay connected to marriage and not parenting. And you want to avoid talking about parenting. If you do really want to talk about parenting, make sure you connect it to marriage, how you and your spouse will work together as parents. But you really walk a fine line there. If you talk too much about parenting, I'm probably going to ask you to have focused more on marriage. Another thing that students sometimes do is they focus a lot, especially writing about mother and father and parents' relationship. They share wonderful things. They share a lot of great detail. And yet what they don't do is connect that to their current or future marriage. So I want to just read one space on the rubric so that you see where the focus really needs to be in the essay. So to get 10 out of 10 points on the first topic about your mother and father, it says exceptional understanding of how their parents' personality traits may impact their own marriage relationship. So you need to make that connection to here's who my parents were or are, here's their personality traits, and then you need to talk about these traits might impact my marriage for these reasons. And then talk about that. Identified traits they inherited and made specific connections to their own current or future marriage. So please make sure that you do talk about marriage and avoid that parenting slant to it, and you'll do great. Again, it talks about the specifics, use the headings that are assigned. It says it needs to be at least 4 pages. You do lose points if you don't meet the minimum page requirement. It says don't exceed 6 pages. It really doesn't call for more than that. Times New Roman 12-point font, double spacing, 1-inch margins. Read through that and then submit by the due date. It is a lengthier assignment. It is a 100-point assignment, and it is weighted pretty heavily. Students who don't attend to this assignment well, it tends to affect their grade for the rest of the course. So I really want you to be successful. I want you to benefit from doing the assignment. I know how impactful it is. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I hope these tips and ideas have been helpful for you. I hope that you have a great experience, not only in this assignment, but over the weeks in the course, and that you find that these ideas and principles that you learn about bless not only marriages, but all of your important relationships.